What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you will receive a notification every time I drop a video, and you can go check the video out. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Let's get right into it. Corcoran State Prison. A gang war transpired between the Black Peace Stone and the West Boulevard. Now, not necessarily a gang war, but it was close to one. Because there in 1995 on B Yard was Doss, I believe that is his name, from West Boulevard. Bald head, light skin, tattoos with a lot of size on him. Doss was about 23, 24 years old at the time. I was 21. And he was running around the yard with his shirt off and being real tough. He was turned up before turned up was a thing. But there in Corcoran at this time, the Million Man March had just transpired. And the blacks had decided to put their weapons down and come together there on B Yard as one. So essentially, a ceasefire was in effect. On came a member of the Black Peace Stones to the yard. Him and Doss knew one another, or had known one another for many years. They were, in fact, childhood friends before they became oppositions, before they became enemies, gang-banging enemies. They were friends. But as they grew up, Doss went one way and his childhood friend went another. Doss got put on the West Boulevard Crips. And the other dude got put on the Black Peace Stone Bloods. And their childhood friendship turned into a lifelong rivalry. They had many fights in school, and they had shot at one another on the street. This was well known on the yard. Doss had made it clear when this particular individual from Black Peace Stone pulled up that he was not happy with the situation, and that in fact he didn't know if he would be able to contain himself. It was made explicitly clear to Doss that a ceasefire is in effect, that the black man is coming together. What with the Million Man March on the street? Why, we're all believing that this may be the beginning of black men becoming revolutionaries, and that the brothers on the street are going to need the support of us brothers in prison. So the talk was going around for us to all come together, no more stabbings and no more beatings amongst one another. This had been agreed upon by every group and every shot caller of every group. There were some heavy hitters on the yard at this time. Even though this was a level 3 yard, Corcoran was still very violent. As I've explained many times before, the most violent level 3 that I know of. And it fluctuated between a level 3 and a level 4. It would go from a level 3 to a level 4. So it had many level 4 characteristics, even though at this juncture, it was a level 3 yard. And people had made it clear that hands were off. But the dude from Black Peace Stone, he was not a coward. And he too wanted to get his hands on Doss. He was young, about the same age as Doss, 23, 24, 25 years old, dark skinned, skinny, with waves. I can't recall his name because he had just got to the yard when all of this transpired. There were other Bloods on the yard, of course. I don't recall any more Black Peace Stones. I don't even recall any more West Boulevards. I think he was the only one from West Boulevard there, and he was the only one from Peace Stone there. Now, there were other, 20 Bloods, Black Peace Stone allies, etc. and many other Crips that were allies with the West Boulevards. But that particular faction, that particular hood, it was just him, and it was just him from Blackstone. And they did not like one another. But Blackstone had the mindset to fall into place with the program. He hit the yard and said that he didn't like Doss being there either. But if the call is that no blacks are to stab one another or even fight one another, then he would go with that. He was okay with that. He would fall in line with the program. He understood that he was not bigger than the program. Doss indicated that he understood this as well. He said that as long as the dude from Blackstone didn't give him any dirty looks, didn't approach him or disrespect him, that he would indeed be able to function with him on the yard. But people did not really like Doss's response. The fact that he said if he didn't look at him a certain way and all of this indicated to all of us that he was on edge, and that anything happened between the two, it would be Doss as the aggressor, not following the rules and the protocols. In fact, flouting and transgressing against a call that had been made for all of the blacks to stand down as he related to one another. Everyone was right. Blackstone had not been on the yard for more than 3 days. And we all hear, yard down, get down. And we look to where the commotion is. And over there in the dirt area, up against the baseball diamond, is Doss and Blackstone fighting, squabbling hard. Now, Doss, again, is a big dude, and Blackstone is not. It's an unfair match all around the board. Again, I know that everyone says size doesn't matter. That's a bunch of cock. That's a bunch of cockamamie bull. This man didn't stand a chance against the bull that is Doss. He was too small and too weak. And Doss really was beating on him. This transpired. You can see a few Bloods making their way over there. They're about to down Doss. But the police had already got a hold of the situation, and so they decided that they would just wait. They would plot and plan a mission against Doss for the fact that he went against the rules and the protocols, that no one had been on the yard fighting for weeks or a couple of months. No stabbings and no turmoil amongst the black community. Again, a ceasefire was in total effect, and everyone had been adhering to it. But Doss had lost control and let his personal feelings towards this particular individual supersede what he knew to be right. Now, there is heavy tension on the yard. The Bloods are pissed off that Doss attacked one of their own, albeit during a ceasefire, and knowing that the individual that he attacked had no chance physically because they were unmatched physically. He had no chance. So you beat up on someone that you knew essentially could not defend himself, really was unprepared to defend himself because he's believing and agreeing to this ceasefire. So he's thinking Doss is in agreement with this as well, and that he has no reason to be apprehensive on the yard because there has been no violence amongst the blacks there from his understanding, and it's true. Again, he had just hit the yard. And that everyone has been following this protocol that has been put into place. Come to find out, they were walking around the track, busting laps, as we call it, on the yard. And when Doss had passed the dude up, Doss looked back and said, "You said what, bro?" And dude had not said anything to him. And then Doss attacked them. That was it. And people were pissed off when they heard this. Even the Crips were upset because, again, there had been no conflict between the factions up until this point. And they felt like they were looking bad because they had no control over one of their own. That a call had been made and he openly transgressed against that call. He's disrespecting your leadership. And he's disrespecting us. So the Bloods are pissed and they want to get their hands on West Boulevard. And they've made that abundantly clear. But they decided to go along with the protocol, which is to give the group the chance to deal with their own. Whoever the culprit is, whoever the shot caller is for that group, they are always afforded a chance to take care of the situation, which means to remove the cancer, the toxic, from the yard. This individual did this, that, and the other. We want him gone. And if you do not get rid of him, then we get rid of all of you, or we get rid of him ourselves. And so the Bloods said, we'll give you guys a chance to handle that. But don't go soft with him. Don't hit him with kid gloves. The Crips didn't want the Bloods to handle it because they felt like they were going to go overboard if they got their hands on Doss. The Bloods didn't want the Crips to handle it because they felt like the Crips were going to take it too easy on Doss and that he needed to be viciously removed from the yard for his transgressions. A quandary indeed, what to do. Again, the Bloods, being the disciplined group that they are, decided to adhere to the rules and the protocols and to give the Crips a chance to remove Doss from the yard, but they wanted it done quickly. We're all anticipating what's going to happen next. It's really one or two things. The Crips are going to remove Doss from the yard, and it's going to be violent. And all will go back to the normal program. Or the Crips are going to remove Doss from the yard, and it's not going to be violent. They're going to attack him with kid gloves. And this is going to inflame the Bloods, who then may very well turn around and attack the Crips for playing and not really getting this dude off the yard. When we want him viciously removed, we gave y'all a chance to do it. You did not do it correctly. Y'all played around. You're playing with our feelings and our emotions and our gang banging with what y'all did to this dude. That was a joke. Now we finna get y'all ass. Because we wanted to get him, but we gave y'all a chance to do it. Now we can't even get him because y'all got him off the yard, but y'all didn't really get him off the yard. The Crips understand the politics. They understand that if they don't smash this dude, it's about to go up. Now, perhaps they're not worried about that. It is what it is. But we're all waiting to see how it plays out. Doss is under the perception that the Crips have his back. The only people that he has to be worried about are the Bloods. He understands that they are pissed off. And even though they had to fight, they signed the chrono to where they can stay on the yard together. They would do this back in the days. So they're still there together. No one has went to the hole. No one has been removed. Every day in the day room and on the yard, we're all anticipating what's about to go down. But it took about 3 days. We're sitting there on the yard, and I'm over there on the pull-up bars. I'm working out with my comrades, with my crew. We're all watching Doss. We're watching the Bloods, and we're watching the Crips. to see who's going to move and when. Doss, per normal, is walking around the track, and he has a Crip with him. And I saw a couple of blacks, a couple of Crips creeping up. It seemed to be on a creep behind him, walking briskly, walking fast. Doss is just chopping it up. He typically has his lokes on, his glasses, and he's just talking to the dude, unaware of the danger that awaits. As the Crips approach faster, briskly walking, I see one of them come out of his jacket, had his hand in his jacket, and swing on Doss. Now, I didn't know at first whether or not he had a weapon, but he swung on him and hit him right about the jaw area. And Doss, having not been expecting this ferocious punch, he did indeed drop to the ground. And when he dropped to the ground, even the Crip that he was walking with, apparently it was a setup the whole time, began to pummel upon his face area. Doss is throwing up his hands. He's not a coward. He's trying to get up and swing. He's trying to grab one of the dude's legs, but they own him. He's already on the ground, and there's not much he can do. One dude grabbed his legs. The other dude grabbed his arms because he's a big dude. So it was about 4 of them on him. It felt like that's what it had to be in order for them to be successful. And they're beating him pretty good. Then you finally hear, get down, and the police rush over there, spray mace, because the dudes are still not really getting off of them. They really, I suppose, wanted to send a message that they were upset as well, and that they were indeed going to viciously remove him from the yard. This was not going to be a game or a gimmick. They were not going to be easy or take it light on him. They wanted to send that message, and they did indeed send that message. Not because they were afraid of the Bloods, but they had taken umbrage to Doss transgressing against the rules and the protocols that they to themselves had set forth. The ceasefire that had been agreed upon had been transgressed against by one individual who thinks he's bigger than the program. You are not. He was not. He is not, and was dealt with accordingly. Doss was viciously and violently removed from the yard. It was really all the best for him, because had the Bloods got their hands on him, I don't know what would have happened, because they wanted him bad. Black P. Stones in the West Boulevard. Dawson, some other dude from Blackstone, who was squabbling back with Doss. He was not a coward. He just didn't have a chance. He didn't have a win because he was so small. But he had the heart of a lion. He was in there. He was in there squabbling hard with Doss. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Was Doss wrong? Or was it just business as usual? This is my enemy, arch enemy. We've shot at each other on the street, beaten each other up on the street, and, who knows what else. And I saw him on the yard, and there's no way I could be on the yard with him. I just couldn't do it. The hatred had run too deep. The rules are the rules. Let me know what y'all think. I'll be back. In the meantime, stay free, people.